Welcome to the Worldwide Doula podcast. I'm Barry, I'm a registered nurse and birth doula, and each week I'm joined by a new guest speaker to talk about all things pregnancy, birth, babies, and parenthood. So it's time to sit back and relax as we get into some juicy topics. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Worldwide Doula podcast. Today I'm here with the lovely Tracy. She's a specialist in essential oils as well as a massage therapist and a holistic health coach. She's originally from Chicago but currently living in Sumbawa. Welcome to the podcast, Tracy. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here and talk to you.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about how you can use essential oils during pregnancy, during your labor, and a little bit about how you can use them on your newborn baby. There are some amazing and very surprising benefits that we are going to uncover today, so make sure you stay tuned until the end. Let's start with the big question that a lot of mamas have. Is it safe to use oils during pregnancy, and are there any that should be avoided?
It's an excellent question. And it's a great one to ask here because you can ask your doctor about it, but they don't usually know about oils, right? And so it's really hard. But first, before I really jump into this, I just want to kind of give the general Tracy disclaimers whenever I'm talking to people about oils. So first, I'm only talking about doTERRA. It's the brand that I work with and I sell and partner with. I just only can speak about these oils because I know their level of purity and potency. And to me, this is the most important thing. And just a little side note, and I think this will really highlight why it's so important. One of my favorite functional medicine doctors in the US, Dr. Mark Hyman, reported it. I heard it in a podcast and I wrote it down because it blew my mind. There are an average of 287 toxins in the umbilical cord blood. It's huge. And we get toxins from everywhere. And this is why I get so excited about doTERRA, about oils, because it's really important that they're clean and pure because the majority of the essential oil industry around the world does have fillers, chemicals, unhealthy things. So if you want to use them and you're not currently using them, just make sure you do your research so that you've got a really high quality brand. You know, the hard thing is like at the store, I mean, this is what I bought. I went to the health food store and bought them there before I learned about doTERRA. And I was just using them aromatically in my massage practice. But I would never buy those oils now because they probably have little to no even essential oil in them. Even though they're organic and they're labeled all natural and pure. In the US, at least, it's not regulated. So anyway, and also just I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice. These are suggestions, and oils are a phenomenal tool, whether pregnancy or just healthy living. Yes, you 100% can use oils, and you can use almost any oil. There's one oil that I would hold off on, which I would save for the birthing process. But during pregnancy, I would avoid clary sage. It's the oil they say can start contractions, but I don't know if they can really start it. It can help though once you're already in the process of labor. It can help your contractions to be more effective and more efficient. I don't know if I'm completely sold of just using an oil would start it.
So many birthing stories that I've listened to, they always say all the natural things. They try medjool dates, they try, castor oil, walking, certain exercises. They like dose themselves in clary sage oil. I think clary sage is one that I've heard to avoid most of the time. And it might not work for you, it might work for you, but it's worth a try and it doesn't hurt to try, right?
And addressing our bio individuality, right? An oil that might be phenomenal for me might not cut it for you, or it might be okay, but you might find another one that you like better or works better. And that's one thing I love about the oils. It's not really a right or wrong. It's a combination of, yes, there's science behind it, but then there's also that kind of intuitive pull as you get to know the oils. Like, oh, I just feel like this. Sometimes I'm just grabbing things off of my shelf and I don't even know why. It's just an intuitive pull.
So, to answer the question, it is safe to use the essential oils during
Yes.
pregnancy, just avoid
Yes.
clary sage.
Exactly.
And what about using essential oils for symptoms like nausea, stress, or insomnia during pregnancy?
Ah, this is where it's yummy. And this is pregnant or not pregnant. And
Yeah.
I was really trying to look for some studies. But the reality is, and this makes so much sense, do we really want to do a lot of studies on pregnant women?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It gets a little, like,
Yeah.
but I did see, like, there was one thing they looked at, like 8,000 women, and it was regarding the sleep and insomnia. And they didn't give a specific percentage, but they said over half. So
Mhm.
that could be 51%, that could be 90%, we don't know,
Yeah.
benefited from, oils for sleep. And I tried to keep these recommendations really simple. So I'm not listing 10 million oils. There are definitely more that could be utilized, but trying to keep things where we could cross over and use it for a lot of things. So sleep, everyone knows lavender, right? Lavender is just such a yummy, and most people like it, but not everyone. And so if you don't like lavender, like geranium is another good oil for sleep. Frankincense does almost everything and could be combined. It's really good for mood as well. But then if we look at, like, the anxiety or stress, once again, lavender, geranium, citrus oils can help a lot, like lemon, orange, pick your favorite. I have one client who uses peppermint when she's feeling stressed. I think for especially these kind of things, it's like finding what works for you.
Mm.
You know, I
Mhm.
love citrus personally. That would be my go to.
Do you apply it somewhere?
Oh, that's the other thing I didn't mention. You can use the oils three different ways,
Oh,
right? You
yes,
can
tell
use them
me.
topically, right on directly on your skin. And so,
Mhm.
like for sleep, I will do that sometimes, like maybe on my pulse points, my wrist. So a lot of times your wrist might be near your face when you're sleeping, or temples, bottom of the feet. There's also some like grounding oils you could use that, just help relax you, calm you. Also, for sleep, diffusing is fantastic, right? So they've done, actually, there's been a lot of studies done about people diffusing at night and getting significantly better sleep.
That's
And
amazing.
and it just smells good, you
Yeah.
know. And I would also say for like anxiety and stress, because it's so much impacting your mood, that's phenomenal to breathe in. So once again, whether that's diffusing, and I'll give you a little tip or a little trick for the car. When I started using oils, we didn't car diffusers weren't so popular. I know they're more popular now, but I just got a little like cotton ball and put a drop or two of oils on the cotton ball and then put it in the vent of the car. And I've heard it works wonders if you have kids in the car and they're getting all wacky and crazy or they're fighting. One mom would always put some wild orange in, and she goes, and suddenly my teens were quiet and they
Isn't that
stopped
so
fighting.
great?
So, yeah,
That's a good
diffusing, or
one.
if you don't have any of those things, you just put a drop on your hand and rub your hands together and then just cup it over your nose and just take some deep breaths in. You can just open the bottle and smell it too. For me, I notice it's different when I put it on my hand and breathe it in. Like it feels more powerful.
Yeah, and I think the distribution is a little bit different. It's like having an asthma inhaler and doing it directly into your mouth
Yeah.
versus using a spacer.
Yeah.
It's a lot more
Well, and
effective.
and you're putting it on your hand, so it is actually also getting into your bloodstream, which is never a bad thing.
Hmm. Okay, great. So there are some really good benefits there. So what about essential oils that can help with nausea and morning sickness and like
Perfect.
first trimester
Yeah.
symptoms?
So once again, there's a lot of oils, and some of these are crossovers, right?
Mm.
Peppermint is great for digestion, great for headaches, great for muscle tension. Lemon can also be helpful. And I've also added a new one, ginger.
Oh, yes.
Ginger, think about ginger root, right? It's great to make a tea with that. But the ginger oil, and this is the why oils can be so powerful, is because they're super concentrated. And even if we compare them to herbs, they're usually 50 to 80% stronger because they are so concentrated. And so
Mm.
a little goes a long way.
Yeah. Okay, and that would just be rubbing them again.
Yeah, I would use those topically whenever I have any digestive issues, pregnant or not pregnant. You're not using a lot. Like I use 1 drop.
I know a lot of pregnant women get like indigestion or
Yeah.
they get constipation. Is there any that can help
Yeah.
with that?
So you can use it topically. You can also use like all 3 of those oils. You could put in water or make a tea and drink them. And also, when we look at constipation, it's all part of the digestive system. So those same oils could be very helpful as well. And now, first of all, eat your fiber, get your veggies, and that can help a lot. I know in my first trimester, I was a hot mess because I was in South America in the Andes and I was at high altitude. And I'd already been there though. So it didn't cross my mind that the altitude was impacting how I felt. And so my whole first trimester, I didn't really eat much. And
Yeah.
so I had horrible constipation issues. And I didn't have oils because I didn't know.
Yeah.
But the minute I landed in Lima and it's at sea level, I suddenly had an appetite. Food didn't make me feel sick. And I started eating. And as soon as I could start eating, I was fine.
Isn't that so amazing how altitude can affect you so much?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about to energize you?
Peppermint is an energizing oil. It's great to diffuse. You can feel energized. You can actually put it on you. I usually will breathe it in. I'll put it on my hands and then I rub it on the back of my neck. So that gets a little tingly. It's a nice, cool tingle. I like to combine it. You can combine it with wild orange. And these two are powerful. And they actually really help with brain focus, not just energy, but like get it. Sometimes there's that mama, you know,
Brain
pregnant
fog.
brain, right? If you want to super duper charge it, a drop of frankincense. And
Okay.
actually, my favorite combo is frankincense and wild orange together to smell. I don't use it as a perfume here. With the citrus oils, you do have to be careful because they are photosensitive. So they're sensitive to the sunlight. So, like, if I were going to go out at night here, I could use it as perfume, but not during the day. I wouldn't want it because I would be sun exposed.
Mm.
But it's also a super yummy tea with just a tiny bit of honey, but
Ooh.
also really great to breathe in and for the brain.
Once you're in labor, you can use clary sage.
Clary sage,
Is there
yes.
any, obviously, to calm yourself, to bring you down into yourself, to focus? You can
Yeah.
use lavender. Is there anything else?
Lavender, the citrus oils. Frankincense is also really powerful for mood and emotions, right? Those are all really good. doTERRA did not exist when my daughter was born, so she's a non-oil baby. I did learn that myrrh is helpful to open the cervix. So if you're
Ah,
starting to have contractions, but you're not dilating, myrrh can help to do that.
and how would you apply that?
You apply that topically, right?
So directly
Yeah,
onto your cervix?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I didn't know that
yeah.
you could
And
do that.
I would dilute that just because baby's coming through there.
Yeah. So can you dilute it with a different oil? Like, how would you
Yeah,
dilute it?
you cannot dilute with water. And it's actually a little safety tip. If you do ever get oils in your eyes, ears, any orifice that you do not want the oils that might be uncomfortable, our natural thing, like you get something in your eye, you want to splash it out with water, but because it's water and oil, it just pushes it in more. So I use a fractionated coconut oil, which is just, taking out the part of the coconut oil that makes it solid at room temperature or colder. So we know this will always be in a liquid form. And so it's great if you want to make a blend for yourself, for your baby, like in a roller bottle. It's great to use that. And so I will literally first just put some around my eye. And if that doesn't cut it, I take another clean finger, I just put a drop on and I stick it in the corner of my eye and it's gone. But any clean oil is
Mm.
really fine to use. Like I don't use olive oil because I don't want to smell like olive oil, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
but they're all fine. right?
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
more delicious to smell like coconut oil than it is to smell like olive oil. And what about if you have a water birth? Because I've heard a few ums and ahs about putting essential oils into the water.
Mm.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, lavender would be a phenomenal oil
So
to
you
put
can
in.
put it in.
Yes, you can.
It is
Yeah,
safe. Okay, that's good.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so putting lavender oil, and same goes for like having a bath. You can just put
Yeah,
lavender oil in your bath and
we
it's
highly
super
recommend it,
calming.
right?
Yeah.
So another little tip, if you're going to take a bath, I'm always a fan of Epsom salts. And so I will put my oil drops into the Epsom salts and let that sit and soak into the salts for a
Mm.
few minutes and then put it in the water. And it helps it to mix in better into the bath rather than just seeing the oils float on the top.
Mm-hmm.
They have magnesium and minerals, right? It
Mm.
would actually probably be really good, especially if you were getting to the point. I never had this in my pregnancy, but I hear a lot of women will get, aches and pains and
Yeah.
discomforts. And it would be so soothing because it's just magnesium and minerals that are nourishing
Mm.
your body.
It's probably a good idea to have a look at what is actually in the Epsom salts, though, because sometimes they put stuff in there that you
Yeah,
don't
no,
want.
but like everything you consume, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to reduce your toxic load, that does require reading labels.
You have to read the fine text, don't
Yeah.
you? What about essential oils for pain relief? Is that
Yeah.
a thing?
For sure. Like my sister used constantly either peppermint is great for this, or doTERRA actually has a product that is made for, they have a couple, but the one I've used the most as a massage therapist and when I've been treating, pregnant women in my massage practice, it's called Deep Blue. And
Mhm.
actually in Australia, it's Icy Blue. I don't know, different countries we have different names for it, but it's a blend of oils and it can come in a lotion, in a stick, or just the oil like in a roller bottle. I wanted to keep it simple, but it's really, really good. Like this is the one product that will win most men over. If they're like, "Ugh, stupid oils, or they just smell good, or they don't do anything, they're not on board. They're like, oh, honey, you go do your oils. That's great. But they want nothing to do with it. This product, when the men try this, they're just like start to pay attention, because it's that good. It's really good.
So
So
what can it be used for?
you can use it so in pregnancy, you can use it anytime, anywhere you're feeling achy and sore. Any labor pains, if you have a back labor, I imagine it would be amazing. I didn't have that, but any headaches. Actually, my sister notices I'm not a headache person. For her, if it's a tension headache, peppermint is her go to. But if it's connected to her cycle, deep blue is her go to.
Mm.
And so I would say like keeping it simple. I could go off like another oil I used a lot in my massage practice was marjoram. That's also really good for muscles. I mean, we could make a whole list, but keeping it
Yeah.
simple, peppermint is also great,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
Deep blue is phenomenal. If you have maybe a lot of discomfort or pain in the pregnancy, maybe consider, a blend that's going to give you a little bit of everything, right? Of different oils. It also has
Mm.
wintergreen in it and maybe birch,
Mm.
and those are super for pain.
Mm. That's great. And then essential oils for postpartum recovery.
Yeah.
Obviously, it could mean different things for different women. If they've had a tear or an episiotomy, maybe using essential oils down there, or
Yes.
even like on cesarean section scars.
Yeah. So for like C-section scars, like after that scar heals, I would recommend, well, and even when it's healing, when I have like a wound or anything, I will treat around it. If you have stitches, you don't want to put oils on that, right? But I just go like way around it, but still in the area. We have actually, I didn't even add this to my list. We have this amazing, it's called an anti-aging blend. So it's great for wrinkles, for skin, but it's also phenomenal for scars. And when we first came out with this oil, because we didn't have it when I started this blend, women who had had C-sections years prior, started using it on their old scar and they're like, oh, it's about gone.
Wow, that's
And I'm like,
amazing.
wow, wow, wow. Like it's
Mm.
really, really powerful. Right. But if they, tear, like for me, because I was in a pre doTERRA pregnancy, my midwives had given me some herbal remedies, right, to soak with. But oils, we are looking at lavender, frankincense, and probably myrrh would be really, really good. Now, you could do a couple of things. Like you could put a drop of oils into a pad, when you wet them and freeze them, and then it's just right there for you. You could make a small spray bottle and just spray it. And actually that's something you can even do if you feel like you're getting close to your delivery date, maybe a week beforehand, just to start preparing the area. You
Mm.
can use oils. Those same oils would be good for a
Perineal
pre.
massage.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A pre and a post treatment, but it would be the same oils because they're all just really, really good for that area and good for
Mm.
healing.
So it is safe to use down there, obviously. There's always a few questions when it comes
Yeah.
to orifices,
Yeah.
especially
Well, of
down there. You
course.
don't want it stinging and
Well, yeah. And that's like, these are all gentle oils, right? They're gentle. You could dilute it with coconut oil. You could dilute it with, if you wanted something lighter, you could dilute it with like witch hazel, would also be
okay.
very doable. But I'm a big fan of coconut oil myself.
Mm.
So,
It is a really yummy oil, isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And then moving on to oils that you can use on your newborn. Are they the same oils or are there some different oils there that you can use?
Now, with newborns, right, we want to be super gentle. And
Mm.
the beautiful thing is, like, you hardly need anything. And what I would recommend, and I actually forgot to mention this to you earlier, I have like some super simple roller bottle recipes. I could offer this if people want to reach out to me and then I could send it to them. It's literally like in a 10 ml bottle you could make and you're literally putting 1 to 3 drops in the bottle. Like it's that diluted. So you use it incredibly sparingly, which is why a roller bottle is so beneficial and so easy. And then it's just done. So, like for sleep, just a little lavender and frankincense. And if you already have it made in a roller bottle, you just grab the bottle, put a tiny bit on, you're good to go. But yes, so like if their tummy is upset, that would be more like ginger and fennel.
Okay.
And that could be always a super easy place for anyone for oil placement could be the bottom of the feet, but especially for little ones. I mean, when they're a newborn, even when they get a little older until they get to the foot grabbing stage, this is a safe place. They're not going to touch it. They don't have to worry about it getting in their eyes or anything. You could also, for upset tummy, put it a little bit right on their stomach and just rub it in clockwise,
Mhm.
and it's good.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah,
They're very emotional when they have pain in their bellies. So it can be
yeah, of
a
course,
big
because
weight
they're
off.
just this is horrible. Somebody take
Yeah.
care of this.
Yeah, exactly. I wrote an article about baby massage and the
Oh
benefits of
yeah,
baby massage. And this goes hand in hand. You can use your
yes,
essential oils to do your
yes,
baby massage.
100%. It's so easy, and it's such a wonderful way to bond with baby, and just
Like
yeah,
obviously you need to choose your time to do it. You need
yes,
to make sure
yes,
they're in a good mood, but it's really beautiful to have that
yeah.
time with them. And then obviously it can help with sleep. Well, both
Mhm.
baby massage and essential oils.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, if you were going to make a blend, it would just be lavender and frankincense, and it's literally just 1 drop of each. Or it is safe and it is okay to diffuse oils. Like, if baby has a separate room or if baby's sleeping with you, either way, it's safe to diffuse in the room.
Again,
It's
they'd apply it on the bottom of the feet if they
Yeah,
were
I
pregnant.
I would put it on the bottom of the feet, and maybe for a baby asleep, I might put it, like, on the back of the neck, because there are some oils that will cross the blood-brain barrier, and frankincense is one of them.
there's so much great information. There's so
Yeah.
much, like, obviously, we've talked about a certain select few because there are
Yeah.
so many benefits to so many essential oils
Yeah.
out there. But where can mamas go to find more information and resources about essential oils?
So I love information. I'm an information junkie. I did include the Environmental Working Group, EWG, just because this is where Dr. Mark had gotten the statistic on the 287 toxins in the umbilical cord blood on average. And if you're really serious about clearing out toxins, this website has they rate all these products. Now, I don't know though if it's limited to the US. I don't know that, but I don't know if there's an Australian equivalent to this. They just have great information. Think about like all the products you use on your body, and that goes right into your bloodstream. But my number one resource, I should have led with this, is this book. It's an essential oil guide for pregnancy, birth, and babies. Of course, I have this book in storage in the US, but there is an ebook version, and it is by, I don't remember if she's a doctor or a midwife, but her name is Stephanie Fritz. And this was one of the first books I got because I love this world. I did also want to include, just if people are interested in the science, it's hard to find pregnancy specific things, as I mentioned in the beginning, but we have a site, aromaticscience.com. And you can either look up an oil and see information about that, or a body system, but they didn't have pregnancy. It was really like the systems of the body. Or if you really like to geek out in science, they also have the different chemical constituents, right, of the oils. You can look it up by that.
Hmm.
And I love this stuff. So I just thought I would share that. And then, of course, if you want to follow me, and I can always share more information, especially about doTERRA, I'm at the Holistic Shebang on
The holistic
Instagram.
shebang. I love it.
It's fine.
um,
I can't take credit though. This is from my niece. She came up with this name. And
it's
I'm
very
like,
catchy.
as
It's
soon
good.
as I heard it, I'm like, yes, thank you, Caitlin.
There's some really good resources. That's great. I wanted to just say again that if you're wanting to use essential oils, it's really important to look at what you have in the oil that you're buying. Tracy actually told me this story when we met up the other day about a man who had a little cut. Do you want to tell the story quickly?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. And in the class, he had attended a class that my friend was teaching. And he knew my friend, which was a really good thing, because she's like, I'm only talking about doTERRA. Put it on your wounds. It will help you heal. And so he went home and he put lavender on his wound and it burned. And so then he called my friend and was like, Erin, you just told me to do this. Like, are you using doTERRA lavender? No. So she's like, I know this sounds crazy, but come to my house. We're going to clean this and we're going to put some lavender on it. And he really didn't want to do it, but he eventually did. And it immediately, the redness that had been caused from putting on the chemical lavender or whatever was in there, whatever chemicals were in that, immediately started going down. The discomfort went away. And I mean, it's not a good story for him, but he will never question that again. He's like, okay, it's doTERRA for me. It's really
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah, it's great. There are so many different brands of essential oils
Yeah.
out there. And you might think that one is really great, but at the end of the day, it can actually cause more damage than good. And maybe
Mm.
that's why a lot of people don't think that essential oils work because they have bad experiences,
Right.
or, they say that it doesn't work because it's probably only one drop of essential oil in that whole thing and it's just diluted, or it's just flavoring as well. You said
Yeah.
that there was a cinnamon essential
Oh
oil
yeah.
and it wasn't even cinnamon.
Yeah.
It just smelled
Yeah.
like cinnamon, or it was made with something cheaper.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Tracy, it's been wonderful talking to you today. I've learnt so much, and I think that we could talk about this forever, honestly.
I imagine we will have more conversations, but
Oh, for
thank
sure.
you. Thank you again for having me. It has been an absolute treat. I love talking all things oils. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been great. I hope that this episode has cleared up some misconceptions for our listeners out there, because there is a lot of grey area around how to effectively use essential oils and which ones are safe. And I'll say it again, you can find Tracy at the Holistic Shebang on Instagram. If you're enjoying the podcast, make sure to give us a follow and rate the show. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this episode, give it a share so that we can spread the word and educate more mamas and women worldwide. And we'll see you next Monday for another juicy episode. For more information on pregnancy, birth, and parenthood, head over to my website or Instagram at blissfulbirth.co. And just a little reminder, the information contained in this podcast is here to educate and empower, and does not replace the advice of your own healthcare provider.